Even though we've seen price decreases over the last 4 months, the Canadian real estate market is expected to rise by 6% in 2025 via Royal LePage. The Calgary Real Estate Board is dubbed Canada's top real estate market to watch in 2025 for a lot of different factors that are going to be put into place in economics as well as housing. Dollarama actually just acquired a bunch of land just north of Calgary, looking to move a warehouse or develop a warehouse for the Alberta market. So I will link these news articles in the description below, so go ahead and watch those, but it is very interesting nonetheless. My name is Adam Fyfe, your Calgary Realtor. If you're looking at getting a hold of me, you want to have a conversation about what it is that you could do to prepare for your next steps, I've added a 15-minute phone call into this. If you want to just have a quick phone chat, no big deal. It could be 5-10 minutes. If you want to jump on Zoom and actually have a consultation, I'm more than happy to jump on that for 30 minutes. If you want to know what your home is valued at, this market is decreasing. There's a lot of price declines across the entire city. I have a lot of people that use this every single month, and it's been very fascinating to see how much home prices have actually fallen in certain areas. But let's continue on here. I'm going to read what the Calgary Real Estate Board has written about this market. If you want to pause the video, read this on your own, that's fine. Skip to the next chapter, no hard feelings. Rising sales for homes priced above $600,000 offset the declines in the lower price ranges caused by limited supply choice. While inventory levels did improve, 85% of the supply was priced above $600,000. Improving supply caused the months of supply to push above 2 months in November, with higher months of supply reported for homes priced below $700,000 and less than 2 months of supply for homes priced below that level. This variation within the market is likely to result in different price pressures. So that means very clearly, like in every other market, it's going to be different depending on price points as well as area of town. The unadjusted detached benchmark price was $750,100, slightly lower than last month, but over 7% higher than prices reported last year at this time. Year-over-year gains have ranged across the city, with slower growth reported in areas with most competition from newer homes. We had a new home boom. The pandemic, everything slowed down. New home construction couldn't find trade workers. I remember that there was a lot of people there was a lot of developers and builders that just weren't building homes fast enough, which caused some of these price increases in the first place because there was just no choice. Resale homes were selling at higher prices than new construction homes, which was insane for a small period of time there. So, detached price, $750,100, down $3,800 from last month, but up $50,000 still from this time last year, right? So we're still up 7%. So with that in mind, if the Canadian real estate market as a whole is going to see another 6% increase, we could see another $30,000, $40,000 increase in the detached market. Is that a guarantee? Absolutely not. But is that some of the reports that I've read? Yeah, it is. So let's go over this again, right? So we've seen some decreases in the price point. Obviously, there is going to be some slowdowns in the market when we've seen such high inventory levels. I should have actually screenshotted what it was like last year, but the inventory has been increasing a lot because of not a lot of new construction, new development, new homes coming to the market, a lot of new listings coming up. Sales still relatively strong, not as strong in the summer months as last year, but this time of year still relatively strong compared to what they were last year. Okay, so let's look at this here, right? We've got our sales. We've got 1,000 sales in October of this year, and we have 865 sales. If you look at last year, right, we've outpaced it from last year. We've outpaced it from last year. The market is still relatively strong. There's just a lot of options for people to choose from, right? We went from new listings, right, 1,300 to 1,500, and then we've also increased around 500 homes. There's more homes for people to choose from, which has caused this price decrease. There's just a lot more selection for people to choose from. If we look here, like September, right, that's a pretty big decrease from last year. 1,100 sales versus 942 sales. If you look at August, 1,200, 1,000, 1,200, 1,100, 1,500, 1,200, 1,400, 1,300, right? So obviously for the Q2, Q3 of last year compared to this year, we've seen a slowdown. But when you start to look at Q4 of this year, we're actually on pace to outmove what happened last year. We're just seeing a lot more listings, and then obviously the inventory has increased quite a bit. When you look at the days on market, relatively close to where it was last year, an extra 2 days. But look at the price difference, right? 699, 750. Another thing that I noticed on this chart, which is pretty cool, is that this is the first time the average price for single family homes has actually dropped below 800,000. You can see the last time we saw that was actually in April, right? 796, right? If 785 actually kind of goes down back to the February average price point that we saw. So hopefully you know how to calculate average. If you have questions about benchmark, median price, average price, comment them in the description. I'll try to give you as good of an explanation as I can. Now, year-to-date sales, obviously, we are down, right? So you had 12,000 sales versus our 11,000 sales. Pause the video here. It's kind of cool. You can see that last year in the single family home market, you know, we had a lot of 350 to 400s. Look at how many we had this year, right? We had quite a few $400,000 sales. This year, not nearly as many. A lot of 5 to 550, not that many, right? All of the sales are increasing kind of in that higher price point area, right? So that's kind of a cool shift that we're seeing. Take this graph with a grain of salt. This graph, mainly because of this $400,000 price point. So the Calgary Real Estate Board, if you're watching this, come on, what's going on here? It says that year-to-date November, there was only like 400 sales, which is clearly incorrect. If you actually look at some future slides, I'll touch on why I think that's incorrect, but I could be wrong. I would be very, very shocked if there was only less than 500 sales year-to-date for this. So like I said, take it with a grain of salt. I do need to confirm that. 700 to 1 million has seen a massive increase. There is a lot of single-family homes that have pushed up above 700,000. And then this is also a little bit of skewed data because it's three $100,000 price points kind of mixed into one. But look at the difference between 2021 and 2024. I'll go on into 25. So sales by price range. Okay, now this is where I'm saying that the numbers are a little skewed. So 400 to 500,000 last month alone, there was about 240 sales in that price range. So like, are we saying that there was just like no sales like in spring and summer for $400,000 single family homes? Like, I doubt it. I bet you if I actually pulled it up right now for the market here, if I actually just go like this, live time with you guys, go single family homes, let's go back 365, right? Let's go 400 to 500 just together on the call, 538 sales. So maybe they're close. Maybe they're close because it's 365. So that's actually a full year. But either way, that's ridiculous. That's very, very, very low. So $400,000 just doesn't exist in Calgary anymore. Sales by price range. So this is kind of breaking it down again just for the month of November. You can see that there was a high, amount of sales in this. You can see 500, 600, cool. Looking at the quadrant breakdown, for a lot of people out there, they might not understand this. The Northwest, Southwest, and Southeast street abbreviations don't actually mean that it's quadrant, right? When you look at this map here, you can see all the different colors for the quadrants. So when you actually go over to something like this, you can see that city center is purple, right? And it's got all sorts of communities in it. Now, the cool thing about city center is that it actually has all 4 street abbreviations in that one quadrant. West Calgary, right? Or sorry, East Calgary, if we go over here, it has 2 street abbreviations, right? So it's kind of neat in that sense of things. Oh, that's a lie. I think East Calgary would actually be mainly Southeast in terms of street abbreviations, but you can even see like a Southeast and Mainland here. So regardless, don't always pay attention to street abbreviations. Do not want to go down that rabbit hole. Inventory for the month of November. Oddly enough, you can see that there is a lot of inventory in the $300,000 price range for single family homes. Now, why is that not selling? We would need to dive into that a little bit more and go to the MLS and figure out why that is. Now, when you look at the sales by property type, you can see that South Calgary is seeing quite a bit of single family home sales. If you're looking in South Calgary, it's going to probably be a little bit busier than other quadrants, whereas Northwest has a little bit of a lower, but in future slides, I'll show you why it's one of the most active quadrants. Sales in November, going back Novembers, like 10 years, right? So if we go up here, we can see that for November, we actually are at the peak of where we were even last year, right? 2021, absolutely wild year. 2023, 2024, also pretty wild years. And look at 2014, right? So the market is still moving. The market is still hot per se, but there's just a lot of homes to choose from. So when you want to actually go on the market as a seller, you want to make sure you're listing your property correctly. As a buyer, you have a lot more leverage now to maybe negotiate that best price. Especially if the home has been on the market for longer than a week or 2, right? Inventory, look at this, right? Inventory, we're finally getting back up to some maybe 10-year trends, right? We had 2022, 2023, some of the lowest inventory we've ever seen in the Calgary real estate market. You can see that in 2018, one of the slowest years on record, we had almost 6,700 homes left over at the end of the month. We still only have 4. 4,000. So we're still relatively low, but considering where we came from, a lot of people think it's very, very high, right? So I would consider us to be a little bit more in a balanced market condition right now. Now, market is obviously trending to slow down, which is a good thing. We want the market to slow down. We do not want Toronto, Vancouver prices. Yes, there are people out there that want all their properties to increase at $1 million and they want to make all the equity in the world and they want to find success. But in terms of our economy, in terms of our younger generation, we don't want to get to Toronto and Vancouver prices. At least I don't, right? I don't want the economy to absolutely rely on the housing market to build your wealth, right? That's not good. If the market crashes, then there's some big issues there, right? So let's continue on. Months of supply, right? Now, I talked about how the Northwest Quadrant is one of the most active quadrants in the entire city. So when I zoom in here, you can see that Northwest single family homes is actually the lowest months of supply out of all property types in the city. You can see it's still 1 month. It's still a strong seller's market in Northwest Quadrant, right? So if you are a buyer, you might not have as much luck or as much success as maybe you would in Northeast Calgary if you were looking for a single family home, due to the fact that the absorption rate is a lot tighter, meaning that things are moving a lot quicker. Not going to touch on apartments, that's for next video. You can see that City Center as well as Northeast are in balanced market conditions, 3 months of supply. We're probably going to see some price decreases, but we're not going to see any dramatic drops. Yes, we're going to see some corrections. Yes, we're going to see some price falls, but we're not going to see these sharp declines in a 3 months of supply territory. 6 months of supply territory, that's a little different. That's where you're going to see a little bit stronger of a price decrease. So apartments in Northeast Calgary, just be aware. Okay, let's continue on here. Benchmark price. Benchmark price, super cool. If we just zoom in here, you can just see, City Center, West always have neck and neck benchmark prices. But when you actually go through the benchmark attributes, which is linked in the description, you can see that if you go to the detached market, you look at year built in City Center, 1955, year built in West Calgary, 2000. So every single quadrant is going to have different benchmark attributes. So these prices are not accurate across the board. You need to look at the attributes that are available within that quadrant as to why the price is what it's set at. So make sure to reach out, ask your questions, and figure it out. But if you are curious of what your home is valued at and how much it has increased year over year, you can go ahead and put it in this auto home evaluation tool. Super, super slick. It will spit out an instant momentaneous value. If you do not get an email right away, it might be because you didn't put your property address in correctly. When you click here, you actually need to click the drop down for the home to actually be populated correctly. If you're in a condo, you have to put in your unit number to actually get the evaluation. I have a lot of people that use it and don't really use it correctly. So every single month, I'm going to make sure to highlight that. Click the drop down, put your unit number in. It's very, very slick. So let's continue on here. You can also scan this right here if you want. Let's go and look at the market. Okay, so here is a live look at actual data at 5 p.m. on December 15th. Okay, all I've done here is I went close date, single family homes last 30 days. So we're only going to touch on two things. One, a lot of homes are selling below their list price. If you actually look here in general, 98%, 99%, 97%, 92%, 95%, a lot of homes are selling below. But for those homes that list aggressively, right? It's still a hot market out there. Braeside listed for $560, got an unconditional offer, $41,000 over ask, sold, boom, done. Right? That's a very affordable single family home. If you want to see this home specifically, I can't share specific information about it, but if you want to know specifically why that home sold quickly, you want to see what it's all about, shoot me an email, realty@adamfyfe.com. More than happy to share that information with you. You do see some ask prices, right? $569, $843, sold within 29 days. You got a 1% over, sold in 18 days, $675, $685, $499, $515, right? They still exist in this market. They're just few and far between. When I did this back in the springtime, holy moly, everything was selling relatively quick, unconditional. It was absolutely absurd. Now we're starting to go into more balanced market conditions, which is very welcoming for a lot of people. So Microeconomic breakdown. Market's still hot, prices are falling. Still in somewhat of a balanced market condition. Like I said, we're going to see some price decreases. It's the winter time. It's very common. Are we going to continue to see price decreases go like down? Not at 2 to 3 months of supply, right? If we were at 4 or 5 months of supply, yeah, maybe we're going to see some decreases on a continual basis. But being at like 1, 2, 3 months of supply, we're probably going to see some, price slowdowns, but it's going to level out somewhere because the market is balanced. It just takes a little while for it to actually balance, right? So if we look at this, Northeast saw a massive decrease over the last month. They had 106 sales, 180 new listings, only 60% sales to new listing ratio, right? There was a lot of, negotiation happening on that side of things, and they lost quite a bit. You got $6,500 decrease in Northwest, yet they're leading the charge, right? 127 sales, 107 new listings, so that means that the months of supply is quite low. The inventory fell from last month, and they are still losing money, right? But it's still a very fast moving market. There's still a lot of things to consider in the Northwest. So take a minute, look at that. If you have any questions about this, East Calgary, still rocking and rolling, $6,300 increase. It's a very affordable quadrant at $532,000 for a single family home, but you want to look at those benchmark attributes because not everyone wants to buy a 1972 4 bedroom, 3 bathrooms, detached garage that's around 1,100 square feet, right? Not everyone wants to buy that, but if you do, and you're okay to move to East Calgary, you can still get it at a relatively affordable price. So, City of Calgary detached home prices, right? This is the year-over-year benchmark price is the red, and then the red is the year-over-year benchmark increase or decrease, right? So the increase is still at around 6-7% year over year. You can see in 2023 we got quite low, right? We got down to 3%, and then we jumped back up. Probably going to happen in 2025. This is my assumption. We're going to go down. I don't think we're going to go into the negatives. I really, really don't. And then we're probably going to rebound. Are we going to see these crazy 16-18% year-over-year increases? Absolutely not, right? Are we going to see some modest I'd say like 3 to 6%? Most likely. I would say so, yeah. So keep an eye out for that, right? As you can see, every single year, 2022 is a great example. 2022, this is when the interest rates increase at such a rapid rate. They increased so quickly, and people are like, oh, that's it, the market's done, right? Price decreased, and then 2023, boom, took off. We saw a slowdown again, and boom, took off. Now we're gonna see a correction. Are we gonna take off? I'll leave that up for you to decide. If you have any questions, go ahead, put the questions in the in the actual comments below. More than happy to explain things. I want to bring up my playlists. For those of you who are interested in seeing different aspects of what I do, I have these playlists here that will be re-recorded in Q1 and Q2 of 2025. These are old. You might laugh, you might see how much the quality has changed, but if you're interested in looking at a couple of different things like Calgary professionals and different videos here, go ahead and click the actual playlist. But like mentioned, a lot of this information that I have here is actually in the description. So you go down here, instant home evaluation, Zoom call, 15-minute call, the attributes that I talked about, starting your home search, and then the monthly PDFs are all uploaded right here. So thank you very much for everyone who watches these videos. If you made it, comment, I made it. I'd love to see who actually makes it all the way to the end. I love all of you guys. Thank you so much for your support in this. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.